Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Muhammad Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Alexander Leonard. Alex is the founder of AL Media. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Alex Leonard. Alex, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here, Muhammad. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you, young man. We like to interview young people because they have a fresh ideas and they only are working on something which is creating a huge impact in the world. So thank you so much for being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving this platform, and I'm excited to share some of my growth hacking secrets and ways that people can scale their business and really make an impact.
Wonderful. Alex, Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get started with your own AL media?
Yeah, absolutely. So what really made me start my company was when I received a grant to go to Sri Lanka in 2018 to do elephant research there on the conflict between humans and elephants. And so I decided to purchase a drone and a video camera so I can record that research trip. And from having inquired that, I realized I needed to really learn how to use that. I had a background in communications, more print, but that was the genesis of my company, AL Media, as I started to do more local work. And then when I returned from that trip, I decided to turn that into a business. It's now, since then, been 3 years running. Every year we're growing, and I've just brought on 3 people onto my team. So it's really exciting to be at that stage where I can see the impact that I'm making, really helping the environmental organizations and seeing that impact start to scale and do things at a larger and, more considerate way, really diving into those strategies.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, Alex. This is great. Again, you have a team now. Not only you are working with 3 people in your team.
3 people on my team. That's correct. I have a graphic designer, a videographer, and as well a web developer now.
And everyone is working from their home, or they have a professional office sitting all together?
Everyone's working remotely. So yeah, all 3 team members, myself included, all have been working remotely. It's just part of how I'm going to scale. Really, I think most of my employees from now kind of moving forward, I just see the benefit in letting them have that flexibility to work remotely.
For our audience, just tell us a little bit about your education.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So my education started really doing my bachelor's at Concordia University in Montreal, where I studied my major in communications and cultural studies. I also did a minor in philosophy. Moving on from that, I took some time off to travel. This is when I went to Sri Lanka. Then I came back and I did 1 year at Fanshawe College here in London. And that was in marketing management. So that was a post-grad. And then right after following that, I did 1 year of a master's in environment and sustainability. And that was at Western University, also here in London. So I just finished that program last summer of 2020. So now I'm a fresh grad who works full-time for an environmental nonprofit. And then I have my company and manage my team members and that growth essentially outside the 9 to 5.
Okay, wonderful, great. You are on your path to become the leader in your media. It's very niche focused business. So great, thank you so much. So Alex, for many youth who are thinking to start a business, and just like just imagine yourself a few years ago when you say, should I go for a full-time job? Should I go for a business? And you went for your own enterprise. This in your world, this is your own enterprise. And while working full time for someone else, you learned a lot how to kind of balance out both things together at the same time. You have to be disciplined enough to do this because not everybody is in that mindset. So my questions are related to on that one. So what are the top 3 missteps to avoid when you're actually starting your own entrepreneurship journey and while working on your full time job?
Yeah, I really like this question. I think it's a great question. I would say number one, a really important thing is to not have a mentor. I think having a mentor and many mentors, honestly, has been very key to my success and to my business growth. I've learned a lot from the people who I can rely on. And it's good to have that person in your life or people in your life who you can bounce ideas back and forth. So I have a podcast mentor. I have a graphic design mentor. I have an entrepreneurship and mindset mentor. And so all of these people I, speak with on a biweekly or a monthly basis who give me guidance and advice. And so without having that, I don't think I would be where I am now. The second thing that I think is really important is trying to do everything trying to do everything yourself. I think this is the second failure that a lot of entrepreneurs make. And it's something that only I now am starting to realize and really honing in on is either outsourcing or bringing on team members to fill in the things that I don't like to do. It's something that I kept reading and reading and reading. And, I just only recently, like only as of 2021, really executed on that and to bring new team members on. I think the third thing that I would say is a major failure is having a mindset of scarcity and being afraid, whether it's being afraid to post on social media, whether it's being afraid to ask for that sale, whether it's being afraid to ask that dream client if they'll work for you. And whether it's the scarcity of rejection, right? Like being afraid to say no to clients who isn't in your best interest. That takes confidence and it takes time. And that's something, all of these things I'm still learning on myself. But I see the value in all of them. And I think that's almost the first step, right? Is knowing what those failures are and knowing how to avoid them.
Can I ask a follow-up question on this?
Absolutely.
So you mentioned about not having a mentor. You probably have multiple mentors. I do have a mentor myself too. So without a mentor, it's very hard to navigate to the path where you want to go because they already travel that path, probably not one time, many times. They know exactly where to avoid, what not to do. And many people,
Totally.
whatever the knowledge someone is going to learn from a mentor, it's already available on YouTube University. So, you can, so why I should even engage a mentor or something while the data is available on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, you have to think about it in channels of communication, right? Like YouTube is one directional. It's one person speaking to many. There's no conversation there. You can leave a comment and things like this, and sure, you can send them a DM, but it's not the same depth that you will get to when you have a mentor who is consistently following your stories, following your successes. And so, some people may be asking, well, I'm in small town X, Y, or Z, or, I don't know, I'm entering a new community or a new business venture. Where do I find a mentor? I'd say a really good part to start is contact your local small business center. Almost all small business centers have mentorships or business coaches, and there's small business centers in towns and cities all across Canada. And I imagine the US as well, and probably other parts of the world. So that's where I'd say would be a really good part. That's my kind of consistent mentor who I speak with biweekly. He came through a business accelerator, which is essentially a small business center.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Alex. I really like your approach, and all of our best wishes are to your AL Media. So, if I try to be greedy and ask your secret sauce of your success, what are your top 3 success secrets so far you like to share with us?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say that my top 3 secrets to success is to fail forward, to learn from your mistakes, and to put that into practice. I would say so. Yeah. So just a bit more on that. Like a lot of people will face failure and they'll shut down or they'll quit or they won't want to go forward or they won't want to try the same thing again. But you have to understand that like that's just part of life. So c'est la vie, like fail forward, fail often, and learn from your mistakes, and more importantly, learn from other people's mistakes. I'd say the second thing that is really important for me personally is having a mindset of growth and having a mindset of being like almost insanely focused on something to the point where you are sacrificing other things in your life, right? There is no one key secret to success. And I hate to break it to you, Muhammad, but there is no secret sauce. The secret sauce is hard work. And a lot of people are looking for that. And a lot of people will try and tell you that, sign up here, get these 8 quick steps, make money fast. I mean, always take that with a big spoonful of salt, because there is no really, it's going to take hard work. And then I'd say the third thing that really has been a key to my own success is relying on my network to start, but building strong relationships by just being someone who is showing up on time, under promise and over deliver. Like, be a person that people want to work with. And, you're going to burn relationships at the start. It happens, you're learning, but try your best to avoid that. And I think that would be something that, even kind of coming back to what you said before, that'd be almost another failure. That has been something that's been a success as I move forward, is providing an awesome customer experience so that people want to keep coming back and working with me more and can give me that referral.
Wonderful. You mentioned about failure word a few times, so I'm going to take that chance to ask one more question on the failure part. So would you like to share with us your single most professional failure so far you have had, and what did you learn from it, and how did you recover from that?
Yeah. Oh, it's a tough question. But no, I'll share this with you. It's a good story, and I think others can learn from it. I would say one of my biggest professional failures to date, I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's one that always sticks with me because it was a jarring moment. It was when I was still kind of getting into videography, still learning the ropes, and I was doing some contract work for somebody else. And, I'm not going to say who, I'm not going to say what I was doing, but the footage was awful. Like, at the end, I messed something up. I didn't get the proper settings right.
Yeah.
And they actually came back and they asked me, they're like, well, you know what? Like, you didn't do a good job. Like, I almost can't use any of this footage. Like, I'm going to have to come in and redo this myself. And it's going to take a while. And they were pretty annoyed with me. And absolutely, like, all reason to be. Like, to be honest, I did mess up, and it was kind of outside of my comfort zone. It was not my niche. It was pretty high stakes space. What I learned from that is to really dive deeper into the settings. Do you know what I mean? Kind of working in video, it's twofold. There's the business side. Can you get clients? Can you get business? But then there's also the technical side, right? Like, do you know how to operate a camera? Do you know how to edit that footage? Do you know how to color grade it and mix the audio and things like that? So I think that was probably one of my hard pills that I've had to swallow as a business owner. And yeah, like, that happened, a bit in the beginning, like, people who just weren't that impressed with my work. And, I told them, like, that's why, I'm not charging you as much as I do now, because now I have that experience.
Yeah.
But that'll happen, right? And you learn from that, and, just handle it with grace, take it in stride. And yeah, don't beat yourself up too much, because, I'm still young, right? So I'm always learning.
Definitely. Not only you are young, I always feel I am still young too. So
We're all young. Yeah, we're all young at heart.
yeah, definitely. So let's talk. Thank you so much. I appreciate. I know that makes you probably vulnerable a little bit. However, that really, connects with hey, we learned something from other mistakes. Remember, that's the promise. So let's talk about your AL Media. What are you up to now on AL Media?
Absolutely, yeah. So right now, with these new team members who I've just brought on, I'm really honed in and really trying to focus on business growth, business development. So I'm excited to announce just recently, as of like yesterday or 2 days ago, on the 31st, that I launched the start to a new video production essentials course. It's an online course that I'm going to be releasing at the very start of Q2 this year, so in April. And that is going to be aimed at helping videographers who are new to the space come on and really hone in their skills and develop that production. So it's funny, I mentioned, having one of my biggest failures is not having known some of these essential skills. This is directly tying into that, right? That's kind of why I'm making this course, so that I can help teach other upcoming videographers to avoid the pitfalls and the mistakes that I made, and to really help them develop that craft and that business so that they're putting out professional looking content on social media. So that's something really big that I'm working on, and, hopefully will help pay dividends and become a passive source of income for me in the future. But as so many of the podcasts I listen to say, there's no such thing as passive income, right? Your passive income is hard work 2 years ago to now put that out. I'm developing that course, really excited for the launch of that this year. Otherwise, I'm really working on building and honing in on a system and process for generating sales. It's something that, I'll admit I haven't had the best functionality for, but I'm working on refining that and really doubling down on helping environmental nonprofits, environmental organizations, and social enterprises tell their stories through video and murals. And that is really where I want to continue to niche in even further and really focus on that. So I have a few clients that really fit into that I can't discuss details with. But it's funny, I've always been I've always been weary of niching down, and it's something that everyone smacks over your head again and again, go niche or go broke. And sometimes it just takes the right person to hear it for that to come alive, and for that to really click. And that's kind of, I'm doing a course right now all on building a business of video that's led by Jackson Kingsley. Really great course for any other videographers out there who are listening in. And so, I'd recommend that would be a really relevant course. And that's kind of what has been driven into me is, follow your niche. The more you niche in, the more business you'll actually create for yourself. And it sounds counterintuitive, but even just in the past few weeks, the more I'm refining my SEO, the more I'm refining my messaging, the more requests I'm getting, which is, it's bizarre, but also awesome at the same time. So.
Okay, wonderful. So they can check it at alexleonardmedia.com, alexleonardmedia.com.
That's correct.
Okay, wonderful. Check that out. If this interests you, what Alex just shared, you can jump off from this interview right now and just check on the website and connect with him. And actually, when he launched the course, give him the honest feedback. That way you can help him to build a good, engaging community. I'm sure that's very helpful. So Alex, we are about to wrap up, and I like to ask this question to every guest to make sure I am on the right path and I'm making a progress on this, and my audience are actually that's about a growth hacking secret show, like a review and testimonial for this. And here's the question I asked: what would you say to your best friend about growth hacking secret show when I'm not there?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that Muhammad provides an amazing podcast experience if you're a potential guest or if you're a listener, because you're able to learn these key secrets and both failures and success strategies that can help you succeed in your own business and in your entrepreneurial journey. So I would definitely check out the podcast. I think you're going to find a lot of great value behind it.
Yeah, thank you so much for your kind words. Really appreciate it. What would you say as a final word?
Yeah, so I would say just final words. So thank you, man, for having me as a guest on your podcast and for reaching out on LinkedIn. I do appreciate that, and it's something, that I love to give back. I love to share, and I think that's so important for us to do. especially as entrepreneurs, helping to build this community. If people want to kind of connect with me at any point, you can also reach out to me on social media. Instagram may be one of the best spots to find me. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Alex Leonard Media. So that's, as Muhammad mentioned, AlexLeonard Media, MEDIA. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm super active on LinkedIn. Reach out to me. That's just Alex Leonard. I'm based here in London, Ontario. And yeah, I think that's everything for me. I just want to thank you again for the time that you've given me today. It's been awesome. You had some amazing questions. And yeah, I really appreciate this conversation.
Thank you so much, Alex. On the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team, we really appreciate you. This is Muhammad Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.